Hi everybody, and welcome back to the sail oar and canvas project. I put out a video very recently, should be about 2 weeks ago in real time, a very quick video, really just filming it, and that was filming just taking the boat out of here, towing it down to Coat Hill Quay on the Tamar, and a few minutes of rowing, which is sort of compressed into just a fairly quick sequence. So I thought what I'd do today is a bit of a rinse and repeat, which is pull the boat out again, although I'm going to pull it back in a moment because it's raining again. Behind me is all the rubbish from the workshop, so I'm slowly clearing my workshop out. And I thought I'd do a quick tour overview of the Skerry and its features and the things that I've done, and explain what's happened so far and what I'm doing at the moment, because there'll probably be a delay now in videos in that I've got to get a lot of practice in rowing the Skerry, and I want to go out and do the first camp obviously, and I've really got to sail it at some point, and I haven't done so far. So anyway, let's do the look around of the Skerry. As people who enjoy this kind of video, what they seem to enjoy is all the nitty-gritty of the details. So let's do a nitty-gritty video today. The first thing I'd really like to say about the first trials under oars only was it went very well, and what that does, it takes a huge weight off my mind, because for the last few months while I've been refitting the Skerry, I think I've always been wondering, when I get to it, will I actually be able to use it, or, as I thought at the time, is this the end of my sailing career? And that's because of my series of strokes, which you can probably see from me moving around, that my balance still isn't great. My strength has gone really way downhill, and for example I can't cope with the big Pathfinder just behind me. But having this gone quite well, and meaning I can row quite comfortably, I can go out for rowing trips if nothing else. And I think in time I will simply add the sail to that in nice weather, and I will simply use the boat as a sail assisted rowing boat. Anyway, I thought just before I do the actual look around the boat and show you all the fine detail and the way that I'm organising the work now, I'll talk about the things that did go well and the problems of the day, because it's the problems I'm now trying to solve. A project like this one has really 3 or 4 main features. So that is, firstly, as I said, it's a rowing boat, secondly a sailing boat, and thirdly a boat to use as a little expedition boat in the local river to go out on camping trips. And so far I've only achieved the first part, which is that I know I can row the boat, which is great. The second main part of the project though is that we always at the moment have to base the boat here and take the boat somewhere else. And our big problem on the day that I did the filming was we had a nightmare of a trip out, in that we seemed to hit the road just about the same time as everybody else in the village, and so it was go to work time, it was go on school runs. Those mummies on school runs, what a nightmare. And also it was the time that the absolute hero of a delivery driver managed to block one junction entirely. I think you can also see from the video that it's quite a long trip down long narrow lane down to the quay, but it is by far the best place to then launch, because the slip has a decent pitch. We did also check out my first choice, which is the next nearest village, which is Calstock, and there is a slipway in the village, except what usually happened down there is that there was a car parked on the slipway. Now it looks though in the last few months that somebody's painted the slip with almost like a no entry junction box, and that the only people now who can use it are anyone launching or retrieving, which is great, because it's now not someone's convenient car park. The problem with Calstock Firstly, it's a very steep access down into the village, and also a very narrow road down into the village. And at the moment, at the crux point, there are two very large houses just one either side of the road, and they're both being worked on. So there's builders' vans there and there on each side. And it's incredibly difficult to get through there. So we were actually quite stressed about the idea of going through there. So I cancelled that completely. And what we did instead is we've gone down to Coat Heel and launched on the same slipway as the local gig club use. So that's the story so far. So let's start with the nitty-gritty detail. From the bow, one of the things I added at the suggestion, well, strong recommendation of designer John Welsford. John didn't design this boat, that was John Harris. But I've been talking to John Welsford a lot because he was the designer for the Pathfinder and was incredibly helpful during that build. And what John said was, firstly, increase the buoyancy in the bow of the boat, which I know some Skerry owners disagree with because they say that the initial buoyancy tank is adequate to keep the boat afloat, even if it was flooded. Now I happen to disagree with that. Not that it won't float, but with a large volume of water in the boat, I think what you would get is the same as you get with a canoe, which is a free surface effect in that all the water will simply slosh from side to side and end to end, and that's a real problem in a canoe. So I've increased the buoyancy at the bow with a canoeist's buoyancy bag, and when we move to the middle, I'll show you that I've made the centre of the boat asymmetric. So I have a buoyancy tank on one side and then a pair of buoyancy bags effectively either side. So hopefully that reduces the water volume in the boat. One of the main changes, in fact the main change of the boat, is I've made the whole layout inside the boat asymmetric, in that I've taken the daggerboard mount case out from the centre and mounted it on the side, but the daggerboard slips down where my hand is. And also the daggerboard tank case, it becomes a storage chamber for all of what I call my survival kit, but essential kit for the boat. And now I'm going to do a whole separate video about that, because that's how I keep in all my essential stuff on the boat. And what I'll do, I'll film that all in one piece and show you how it works and actually go out and use it. The boat sort of looks really busy with all the equipment in it, with the rig in it and my kit, etc. And it's quite a useful way of seeing it, because it's in real, you know, not real time but real mode, if you like. Either side of the boat then, I have a seat. These are my made up sailing seats, and they are simply large camp thermarests in bags with a bit of air in them, laced firmly into the boat. They should reduce the flooding volume of the boat considerably. And the other thing that I have just after them, again I'll do this in a separate video, is the main storage area of the boat. I call it not my wanigan but my boatigan, and it's simply a large hold all, and all of my camp equipment goes in there. And one of its second function is to put my feet against when I'm rowing, so that I can brace my feet almost as though in the same way that I used a stretcher on the Pathfinder, and that's only a bar to put your feet against and produce some power. I felt that my feet were sliding around a bit in this boat, but hopefully I've corrected that one.